Imagine you're driving down the highway and suddenly your car dies. You call your longtime mechanic, who's always been able to get it running just well enough to get back on the road, but not to where it's reliable. He tells you this is going to be another $5,000. Now I know you're used to him, I know you trust him as far as mechanics go, but this is your car and your savings at stake. Would you trust him on the promise that this time he can fix it? I'm Cassandra Clark. I spent my first year in college majoring in criminal justice, and because of this, I learned a lot about the adverse effects of modern policing. I've been enrolled in Whatcom County's LEAD program for the past 2 years, and I know firsthand how life-changing these care coordination programs are. And now, these past few weeks, I have dedicated to doing extensive research on our societal issues and ways we can build a better, safer place for everyone. Let's start with hypothetical solution A. You trust him. Again, you give him your money, believing 100% that this time he will fix the problem. But soon after, as you're already running late for class, your car breaks down again. Trust in your mechanic and potentially all mechanics steadily declines. The U.S. Department of Justice issued a brief April 2022 claiming unemployment rates among former inmates are 27% higher than the total U.S. unemployment rate at any given time in history. According to a March 25, 2024 newsletter on Success.com, the presence of a criminal record decreased the likelihood of a job offer by 50%, and those same citizens are also 11 times more likely to be homeless. As you can see in the August 2019 Prison Policy Initiative study, the majority of our rearrests are represented by some of society's more marginalized groups. And inmates also do not have health insurance when they're released. A fact that same study by PPI points out makes them 27% more susceptible to a repeat arrest than those with insurance. Using a report done by the Washington State Institute for Public Policy, the average Washington household paid $1,704 in taxes to fund the criminal justice system in 2023. In May 2015, the Vera Institute completed a report revealing Seattle and Kent are amongst 32 of 35 surveyed jurisdictions whose county general fund covers more than 85% of their total jail costs. That same report also claims that nationwide, jail employee costs alone account for 74% of total jail budgets. Taking a closer look at Bellingham's adopted 2023-24 biennial budget, police alone use over 28% of our general fund expenditures at over $33 million. This is on top of nearly $40 million they already receive. The American Psychological Association estimated in a July 1st, 2021 article that 20% of all 911 calls are nonviolent, non-criminal behavioral health calls. In December 2015, the Treatment Advocacy Center published data showing individuals with mental illness are 16 times more likely to be killed during these police responses than those without one. Statistics from the US DOJ from May 2022 reveal 64% of inmates have a mental illness, compared to just 21% of the general adult population. And jails and prisons house 10 times as many individuals with mental illness than our state psychiatric hospitals. Over 85% of all state prisoners are drug users or drug dependent, yet a study by the RTI done January 9th, 2023, claims only 10% of those 85 receive treatment. Now, let's look at hypothetical solution B. You decide to get a second opinion on your car. Turns out it was a semi-easy fix, the transmission. So you ask your guy, why didn't he just replace it? He tells you because he has no transmission experience, so he just did what he thought might fix your car. You give him the other mechanic's information, and he agrees to consult with him on any future car issues that he cannot diagnose himself. Reimagining public safety would include trained professionals for societal issues such as drug use, homelessness, mental health crises, and more, where police intervention is unnecessary and often fatal. There is a concern among citizens that diversion programs release offenders into the community where they're likely to commit additional crimes. Others are of the belief that police presence reduces crime. Therefore, with less police comes more crime. However, to be eligible for a diversion program, offenders must meet certain criteria, including having committed crimes that don't jeopardize public safety. And while studies have demonstrated a short-lived increase in crime, the end of the first period presents a significant decrease in cities utilizing these diversion programs. The Council of Criminal Justice published a brief in 2024 that shows addiction and mental health treatment, housing and employment support, and better access to healthcare and education are the true drivers behind recidivism and safer communities. An article in the New York Times, updated June 22, 2023, names Atlanta, Chicago, and Milwaukee as cities that experienced a rise in homicides despite adding more police, while cities with fewer officers per capita, such as Raleigh and El Paso, experienced a decline in their homicides. In other cities, trials such as randomized street lighting, cleaning up vacant lots, and using violence interruption programs caused a significant decrease in overall crime and gun violence. Now, I don't know about you, but I would choose hypothetical solution B. Your faith in mechanics is unchanged, your relationship with your longtime mechanic is still in good standing, and now you have a second mechanic, someone who is trained and specialized in areas your original mechanic is not, someone who can offer help in areas your original mechanic cannot, someone who is there, ready, and equipped to solve the problems your original mechanic would like to solve, but he just doesn't have the training. Nonprofits such as The Last Mile provide education and job training to inmates. Upon release, 75% of candidates maintain employment and 90% go on to further their education, according to TLM's annually updated website. Volunteers of America manage supervised residential reentry centers that offer several different kinds of support groups, classes, and workshops for returning citizens. Research from the Bureau of Justice in November 2023 shows that restorative justice increases victim satisfaction and reduces the psychological trauma of crime. A study by the ACLU from December 6, 2017 found that diverting just 10% of eligible offenders into drug treatment programs would have saved the U.S. $4.8 billion. The Center for Prison Reform published data in August 2015 showing the average cost of a diversion program in the U.S. was around $150,000. The report goes on to claim the criminal justice system can save $47,000 for each nonviolent felony drug offender that gets diverted into treatment. Miami-Dade County, Florida implemented crisis intervention training, a 40-hour program for officers led by mental health experts and professionals. More than 7,600 officers so far have learned how to recognize symptoms of mental illness, more effective and efficient ways to communicate with neurodivergent individuals, and how they can extend empathy and compassion so they can keep everyone calm and safe. According to an online psychology publication from 2021, it's because of this training that unnecessary arrests and shootings are declining dramatically. Drug addiction is very often a symptom of mental illness, so to recover from drugs, one must heal themselves first. Yet access to mental health services is not easy to come by, especially here in Whatcom County. Reallocating some of those police funds to mental health programs gives everyone an opportunity to be their best selves. What our police need is a second mechanic, someone who is trained, equipped, and ready to handle issues they cannot. Bellingham's own LEAD program recently got a large portion of its funding cut, which significantly reduces the types of services they're able to offer. What the City Council fails to acknowledge when they cut funding to programs such as LEAD is how that impacts the population LEAD works with and how that in turn affects the taxpayers and the community as a whole. I think the most important thing to consider when advocating to defund the police is to be informed as to what exactly that means to you. I want you to think about what I've told you and consider a couple of things. What does public safety mean to you? Does it mean a punitive, stratified society, or does it mean a society that prioritizes community well-being and fosters rehabilitation? And do you think that law enforcement would benefit from crisis intervention training? Defund doesn't mean abolish or dismantle. To me, it simply means we need to equally invest in social services so that the crisis response professionals and care coordination programs have enough funding and resources to address the societal issues they are trained to address. Investing in education breaks the cycle of poverty, creates jobs, and gives those marginalized communities more opportunities. Reallocating funds to social service programs and housing support helps prevent crime, reducing the overall costs associated with the criminal justice system. Increasing funding for healthcare and mental health services reduces the burden on police to handle these mental health crises and provides those individuals with a chance to heal. Providing all community members with better access to resources improves their mental health, productivity, and sustainability. Improved quality of life can be achieved for everyone, not just the privileged. I choose people. I choose prevention and rehabilitation, not cleaning up and punishment. I prefer to have the people out there I've entrusted with protecting me to be distraction-free. I want them focused, healthy, prepared. I don't want them burnt out or jaded from constant dealings with high, irrational individuals suffering from mental illness. And I don't want members of my community to have to continue suffering because resources are inaccessible. I want the police to be able to focus on maintaining order because it's what they're trained to do. It's what they do best, and it's the task that we as a society have entrusted them with. I want them to have a team of second mechanics, always ready to be dispatched on calls that don't require police, always ready to be dispatched on calls with the police, always ready to assist the police in helping us. How long are we going to continue ignoring our societal issues before someone finally says enough? How long are we going to keep blaming the police, drugs, each other, when the truth is none of those things are the problem? The problem is our current solution. Thank you.